everyone. Mitch coming in from the Command Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a fun one for you. How in the world are these amazing cards still somehow less than $4? Well, let's jump into them after I remind you that there's a handy-dandy link in the description below. Now, let's jump into them. First up, run right now. Okay, don't run. Walk safely, or you're probably already seated maybe at your computer watching this, or maybe like on your phone. But wherever you're at, slowly, carefully, go to the website and go pick up Contagion engine because, my goodness, this is never under $4. Very rarely will you see this one. Now, this is an alternative art version. If you're completely fine with those, great. If you're not, then yeah, you might have to pay a little bit more. That being said, 6 mana for an artifact that says when it enters the battlefield, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature target player controls, and by the way, by paying 4 you tap, and you proliferate not once, but twice. First of all, this is a great way to just wipe someone's board, just like if they have a bunch of tiny tokens, which is lovely, but that being said, you're going to eventually wipe it anyways. You are slowing down their board. You are getting a lot of counters on their creatures, and of course, in a proliferate type strategy, you can then add more and more and more, and of course, this lets you add more and more and more. But this isn't just for removal. In fact, it's kind of just like a nice additional thing that it does, that it gets those counters on it on ETB. Because, yeah, just being able to go pay 4, tap, proliferate twice on repeat is insane. So much incredible value for a lot of decks out there. Again, with Planeswalkers like a Super Friends deck, getting extra loyalty counters on them, my gosh, get to those ultimates in absolutely no time. Charge counters deck gets so much extra value. Plus one counters deck, being able to get a giant, massive army. Experience counters deck, there's so many different kinds of decks that can utilize a card like this. Pick it up while it's $3.99 right now. Moving on, okay, this one is more for specific decks, I would say, but you rarely see any kind of a Lotus underneath $4 anyways, so I'm bringing up Lotus Bloom, $3.84 right now. Artifact, suspend 3/4 mana, so you can just cast it for free. I mean, not cast it, just like pay 0, and then you're like, okay, you stay there, and then in 3 turns, I'll come back, and then I'll play you for free. Tap, sacrifice at a 3, any one color to your mana pool. Basically, a Black Lotus on delay, in a way. This is a really, really good card for certain types of strategies out there, for big, bursty mana strategies, essentially. For ones that are like, hey, you know what, turn 1, I'll just play this and go, okay, don't worry about it. In 3 turns, I'm going to have an insane amount of mana to get way ahead of my opponents. Of course, there's certain combo strategies as well. Again, it's kind of like a massive ritual effect that you just kind of like wait on, which is very nice. Also, decks that care about playing things from exile, etc., etc. It is a really cool card. Again, rarely underneath that $4 mark. Pick it up. Just underneath that $4 mark at $3.98, we've got Soul's Attendant. Yeah, such a good card. Wizards keeps making new versions of this, but worse. Like, again, when Wizards is like power creeping things these days in so many different ways, and yet they don't power creep or even just reprint basically Soul's Attendant, it's absolutely crazy. A 1/1 human cleric for a single white mana. Hey, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. Oh, by the way, another creature means your opponents as well. And of course, in a format like Commander, that's 3 times the number of opponents, essentially. Right? I mean, you just have so many opponents out there. You have so many creatures that are getting in the battlefield, and you're just getting a lot of free. Hey, you just get life triggers. So in any kind of a life gain strategy, in any kind of a strategy where you want to pad your life total, and any kind of a strategy that you care about life gain triggers, basically, as well, my goodness, this thing is a house. Again, just a single mana. It does so much work for you. I mean, you play this on turn 1, and it doesn't get dealt with for a while. Just see how much life this gains you. I mean, like, probably about 20 plus. Again, there's certain types of strategies out there, like a token strategy, a go-wide strategy as well. Yeah, much more than that. Again, for just a single mana. And of course, again, with those kinds of decks that care about, life gain triggers, my goodness, this thing is going off here, there, and everywhere. Pick it up while it's underneath $4. This thing is never reprinted. And again, Wizards does not power creep this card. This card, like, literally is not reprinted. They'll keep making ones that are like, hey, whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield. There we go. Okay, but you know what? I'm going to make it like a 5/5 for like 2 mana or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, they don't do Soul's Attendant. And I'm going to, like, jinx this now because, like, in the next set, they're going to be like, hey, Soul's, Watcher. There we go. Yes. There we go. Next up, speaking of power creep though, Dauthi Voidwalker is a giant example of when power creep goes wrong. A 3/2 Dauthi Rogue for 2 mana in Black with Shadow. Yeah, this is an insane card. Yeah, the Dauthi, well, a long time ago, were pretty bad, no offense. But yeah, they had Shadow and cool like that. Oh, yeah, but, you know, hey, yeah, this is just super pushed. Even just, like, back then, like, a 3/2 Shadow for 2, like, oh my gosh, what's the downside? You have to discard your hand? These days, it's like, no. Hey, if a card put into an opponent's grave or anywhere, exile the void counter on it. Okay, so just get rid of any kind of death triggers they might have, and it's just gone now. Great. Get rid of any kind of graveyard synergies. Cool. Oh, but not just that. Oh, by the way, tap, sacrifice this creature, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You can play it for free. What? You just get to steal something? Again, you are paying 2 mana for essentially an unblockable creature. Sure, it can't block, but who cares? For an unblockable creature that gets rid of opponent's death triggers, that messes up any kind of graveyard synergies that they have, and you can steal things, and oh, by the way, yeah, you're in the perfect color for, well, you know, reanimation, getting things back out of your graveyard. You get this back out of your graveyard, say if you sacrificed it and stole something, you're like, oh yeah, oh, by the way, those cards out there that still have void counters on them, I still get access to those, so let me tap sacrifices again and get something else massive for just 2 mana. Such a good card. So many strategies can utilize it. $3.97. They steal right now. Pick it up. Okay, super old and super mean, but come on, Manabarbs. Oh my goodness. All the way back in 1995. Yep. Super old card. Love it. Enchantment for 4 mana in red. Each time any land is tapped for mana, Manabarbs deals 1 damage to that land's controller. That's actually, again, it's funny. When you look all the way back to 95, it's like, these things are worded very strangely. It's like, this one's actually not that bad. It's pretty understandable. It's like, hey, anyone taps a land, basically, for mana, yeah, you're getting pinged, which is great. For you, I mean, you're building around a strategy like this. Again, if you've got, like, a group slug type strategy, if you've got any kind of, like, a damage doubler, damage tripler type strategy, you can do a lot of work with this. Again, just think about just how many times lands are tapped for mana in a game of Magic. A ton. I mean, players are like, well, I've got like 18 lands now, I'm going to win the game. And you're like, no, you're going to punish yourself and you're going to lose. Thank you, Manabarbs. Yeah, this is such a good card for the right kind of strategy. Obviously, you're not just going to chuck it into any deck because it might hurt you more than your opponents. But again, for those strategies that can utilize it to its full effect, again, just going like, hey, you know what? Maybe my opponents take extra damage from my things. Maybe I've got a certain strategy where I can pad my life total. Maybe I've got a way where I don't really care about lands and I've got a lot of mana rocks. There's a lot of ways to take advantage of this, and it's such a good card, such an old card. I love the old card. The old card look like this. 1995, pick it up right now. Next up, Darkbore Pathway. Let's slow things down a little bit. Just slow it down just a little bit. We're going to talk about a very simple land. It's a very good land, though, and this is the thing, again, when I talk about power creep, you know, Wizards kind of power creep some cards, and lands are definitely on that list, and Darkbore Pathway is a very good card. It's very simple. It's a land. It taps for a black mana. Okay, cool. All right, what's so unique about that? Well, you can flip it over, and on the backside, it's Slitherbore Pathway, which has for a green. Basically, just whatever you need. Again, do you need a black mana? Do you need a green mana? Cool. You get that when you put it down. Now, it's not like you can, like, flip it, essentially, but still, being able to have an MDFC land that is literally, like, not slow at all, again, and it's very efficient. It's just, okay, it's either one or the other. It's whatever I need, essentially, at that time, and there's no downside to it. There is no, hey, it comes into play, tap. Hey, he does this. Hey, no. You get the mana right away. You get that decision factor. A lot of these lands are quite expensive, so it's very surprising to see this one under $4. Pick it up. Moving on, now Eiganjo, Seat of the Empire, is another great land. This one, an amazing cycle. Now, a couple of cards in that cycle are, well, a lot more expensive than it. That being said, still a very, very good card. A legendary land that taps for a white. It's got Chain All, pay 3 mana in total in white, but you're probably never going to pay that. Discard it. It deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creatures. Ability cost 1 to activate for each legendary creature you control. This one is underrated, in my opinion. It is a great form of removal, or, again, in a way, like, I mean, like, stacking on removal, I would say, in a way, because, yeah, there's going to be times where it's like, okay, like, the biggest creature on the board is much larger than 4, but hey, if you've got a blocker to throw in front of that creature, and then the opponent thinks that they're safe, like, my creature's fine, I've got a 7/7, and you blocked with a 3/3, and you're like, well, okay, well, I used my land to take it out, and they're like, what? No! Most of the time, you're just paying, 2, if not just 1 mana for this, again, on a land that doesn't take up a spot in your deck, and again, like I just talked about our previous land, is not slow, is quick. It actually comes into play untapped. And also, if you've got like a Legendary Tribal Matters type deck as well, you get a lot of value out of this too on top of that. But yeah, it is a card that, again, is just removal on a land that doesn't take up a spot in your deck and isn't slow. That is incredibly rare, and it can only just cost 1 mana potentially. It also helps discard decks too with synergies. Yeah, it's so good. Pick it up. Moving on, Personal Tutor. A sorcery for a single blue mana. Search your life for a sorcery card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. Yeah, when it comes to tutoring for things, typically, at the very least, you're paying, okay, like, outside of, you know, demonic tutor absurdness, right? Like, absolutely. Outside of that, you are paying, essentially, for a tutor, like, 4 mana when you're trying to get anything. If you're paying, you know, maybe 3 or maybe 2, you can get, like, a specific kind of thing with, like, a limitation on it. This one does have a limitation, but again, it's just 1 mana. 1 mana! Oh no, it's sorcery speed. Oh no, just for sorceries. Hey, do you have a deck that's like a Spellslinger type strategy with like a bunch of great sorceries, or just like maybe a combo that revolves around a sorcery, or maybe just a lot of amazing sorcery in the deck, or a big mana deck with a lot of big spells? Yeah, you're just paying 1 mana to go get whatever you want. Sure, it doesn't go right in your hand, it goes on top of your library, but you're in blue and you've got plenty of ways to draw into that card when you need it, if you need it right away. This is such a good card. Again, tutors do not come this cheap when it comes to 1 mana tutors at $4 or less. It's absolutely crazy. Go pick it up right now while it's still this cheap. And speaking of tutors, okay, if you're not a fan of the Spider-Man cards, and I'm not either, that being said, I'm a budget fan, right? And it's like, okay, this version of the card is $3.79. Like any other card for Scheming Symmetry, another price for it essentially is like $8 plus. So massive price discount for this one. Single black mana. Let's see. Can I actually read this card? Because there's so many things going on in it. Choose 2 target players. Each of them search live for a card, then shuffles and puts that card on top. All the other stuff on this card is just, you know, extra stuff, you know, anyways. You can ignore, like, you know, Friday, July 12th, 2019. Okay, anyways. So this is a card where basically you are, again, tutoring for a single mana, which is insane. And again, unlike Personal Tutor, this is for any card. Now, there is a quote-unquote downside to the card. You are giving an opponent the ability to do the exact same thing. That being said, you get to decide on that opponent. And because of that, well, you can politic. This is a card that is great for people who are good at politicking, essentially. This is a card that is really good when it comes to, hey, you know what? You get to do this, I get to do that. Let's work on it together, okay? Now, there are going to be times where you really have to work on that again. If you are in the first place position in the game and it's like, I'm going to go pick up this, like, okay, yeah, you're going to have to make some deals with that. But again, if let's say that you're like behind the game with another player too, this can really come in handy by like, okay, like, hey, the other player's like really far ahead. We need removal for that and like a wrath. Okay, like, can you help me out? Like, you get that, I'll get that, we'll take them out. Okay, perfect. It's such a good, flexible card that can help out in so many different ways. Pick it up. Okay, I gotta just point this out because this is such a fun card. Obviously, not for every single deck out there. Enter the Infinite, $3.98 for this gem. This incredibly unique card. I love you, Enter the Infinite. You're so cool. Sorcery for 12 mana in total. My goodness. Yeah, use Personal Tutor to go get that. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library. Then put a card from your hand on top of your library. You've got no max mana size until your next turn. It's such a fun and unique and amazing card. It's basically like, hey, your library is your hand. Fun, have fun. Basically, that's just what this is. This is just like draw everything. I mean, if you've got any kind of a draw trigger like Psychosis Crawler, it's like, okay, I win. Cool. There's definitely combos that you can utilize with it. Or again, it can actually enable a combo just by going, okay, I get my entire library. I've got a combo in my library. I can go from there. Doesn't have to be that way. It can just be like a big mana fun spell to be like, well, you know what? I've got like 20 mana lying around because, you know, it's late game or whatever. Let me just like do some crazy things, get my entire library, and see if I can win from there. Or if you got a way to shuffle your library back in because, yeah, at some point you're going to lose. You only have 1 card left in your library. So, yeah, do think about that. That being said, it's such a fun card. Again, definitely not for every deck, but you can definitely build a deck entirely around this, and it's just an absolute blast. Check it out. Pick it up right now for $3.98. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.